All right, for this lesson, we're going to be talking about how to add, subtract, and multiply polynomials. So we're going to look at a few different ways, formatting. You're still doing the same process, especially when you add, subtract, and then we're going to look at some multiplication. So when you are adding polynomials, you can do it vertically or horizontally. Formatting is really just completely up to you. So we're going to look at the first question. And it says that we want to add the 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 7 and x cubed minus 10x squared plus 8. Now this one says vertical format. So vertical format just means that you stack everything in the correct order and what is like terms. So if I stack everything in the correct layout for vertical, so like if I'm looking at A, so I have 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 7. Now I will say that when we're adding this together, it needs to be in order and in descending order. So anything that's missing, so if I had like an x cubed and went to x, make sure you leave some space, because if you have another term that's got x squared, everything's got to line up appropriately. So what I mean by that is if I have x cubed, so that x cubed is going to go under that one. But I do have an x squared, so this is going to be negative 10x squared. So that's going to go underneath that one. We can't mix up a cubed and a squared, so we got to make sure they stack up. But we are missing just the single x, so we're going to skip that space and then come down here and put the constant under that one. So basically what we're saying is we're missing this minus x. It doesn't go away, but you're still missing it. We aren't actually adding anything together. If it helps, you can put a placeholder and put 0x just to kind of make sure everything is in its appropriate spot. So once we do that, we're just going to go column by column. So we're going to do the cubes, the squareds, the single x's, and then the constant, and we're going to add those together. So technically that's a 1, so this is going to turn into 4x cubed. Then we have negative 2 and negative 10, so that's going to be minus 8x squared. Then we have negative 1 and 0, so that's just going to be minus 1x or minus x. And then negative 7 and 8 is going to be plus 1. Now for the second one, it says that they want us to do it horizontally, which just means that we're going to look at what is like terms and we're going to combine those together. So if I rewrite this, horizontally is going to be basically in the same format that it already is. We're just going to change that and put a plus sign in between it, and we're going to look for what is like terms. So we can only combine like terms together. So if I color code here, I have a 9y cubed. There is no 9 or no y cubes over here, so we can't combine that with anything. Then I have a y squared. Well, there is a y squared there, so we're going to combine that one and that one. We have a 2xy, a negative 2xy, and a 7xy, so we're going to combine those. Now we can't combine an xy and a y squared because they're not the same. This is technically y times y, this is x times y. They're not like terms. And then finally I have a 1 and a negative 4. So I'm just going to start with the 9y cubed, and then I have 3y squared and negative 5y squared, so that's going to give me negative 2y squared. Negative 2xy and 7xy is going to give me 5xy. So remember, when you combine like terms, you're only actually combining the number, the coefficient in front of the variables. And then minus 3. So those are both ways that you can stack them on top of each other and add, but just make sure that if you're missing anything that you leave space for it, I guess you could say. So like for this one right here, this would get stacked under this one would get stacked under here, and that gets stacked, but there wouldn't be anything in this spot. Okay, so just keep that in mind however you choose to do it. Now subtraction is very similar. The only difference is that you got to remember that you're subtracting, and you got to subtract every term. So the vertical format, so my vertical format, I have 3x to the third plus 2x squared minus x minus 7, and we're going to subtract here. So I'm going to put subtraction, And with that subtraction, let me move some of this over. So this is A. When I subtract that, I got to make sure that I'm subtracting every piece. So if I'm lining it up, because it's actually it's the exact same problem, the only difference is we're subtracting this time. So I have x cubed here. I do have a negative 10x squared. Now I did not have a x, so you can put 0x if that works and you want a placeholder there. And then my plus 8. Now, personally, what I recommend is go ahead and distribute the negative. So when I say distribute the negative, that means that this negative, I'm going to go ahead and distribute that to everything in that parentheses so that I don't mistake anything and mess up. So when I do that, what's going to happen is that's going to become a negative x cubed. That's going to become a positive 10x squared. Obviously the 0, that's not going to matter, but then this is going to become negative x, and then that's going to turn into plus. So right here, I'm just going to write distribute subtraction as a negative 1. Okay, and then just go column by column. So I have 3x cubed and negative 1x cubed, so that's going to give me 2x cubed. So then I have 2x squared. So I have 2x squared, and now it's positive 10x squared because we distributed the negatives, so that's going to become 12x squared. That negative x and the zeros, so that's still going to be negative x. And then negative 7, and it's going to be negative 8. So remember, we put a negative with that 8, so that's going to be negative 8, so that's going to be minus 1. Okay, so same thing would apply if we did it in a horizontal format. So if I have 9y cubed plus 3y squared minus 2xy plus y, we're going to be subtracting 7xy minus 5y squared minus 4. And again, I would distribute that negative, that subtraction sign, as a negative 1. And then that's going to make this a negative 7xy, a positive 5y squared, and a positive 4. And then just change that to addition. And then I combine like terms. So my like terms here, we don't have a 9y cubed, so that's going to stay the same. We do have like terms with the y squareds, but I have positive 3y squared and positive 5y squared, so that's going to be 8y squared. All right, then I have xy, so that's going to be negative 2xy, and now it's negative 7xy, so that's going to make it minus 9xy. And then finally, I have a 1 and a positive 4, so that's going to be plus 5. So whenever you have subtraction, you can always convert subtraction into addition. Just distribute the subtraction sign as a negative 1. All right, so multiplying is a little bit different. So when we did adding and subtracting, we combined like terms, we identified which ones had the same variables and exponents, and we just added the coefficient.